supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, released a message on Thursday congratulating the nation on what he highlighted as a victory against the Zionist regime of Israel. The Eurasian Economic Forum 2025 kicked off Thursday in Belarus with the attendance of over 2,700 participants from 33 countries. And Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum pointed out that the U.S. Treasury Department has not provided evidence to support the allegations that 3 Mexican financial institutions were laundering money. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos. I'm from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. And the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, released a message on Thursday congratulating the nation on what he highlighted as a victory against the Zionist regime of Israel. In his third televised message since June 13th, when Tel Aviv launched its unprovoked aggressions against Iran, Khamenei underscored the heavy blow dealt to the Israeli military by the local armed forces. The leader also paid tribute to those killed as a result of the attacks, including senior military commanders and scientists whom he described as valuable and faithful in their service. Moreover, Khamenei hailed the unity and solidarity displayed by Iranians amid the Israeli-U.S. aggression, adding the nation proved its nobility and strength of character.
I want to congratulate the great Iranian nation. I would like to offer a few congratulations to the nation. First, congratulations on the victory over the fallacious Zionist regime. Despite all the noise and claims, the Zionist regime almost collapsed under the blows of the Islamic Republic.
In this context, Khamenei disregarded statements by U.S. President Donald Trump on the damage inflicted by the unprovoked strikes on nuclear facilities, stressing they were exaggerated to manipulate the narrative.
The United States attacked our nuclear facilities, a matter that is independently worth pursuing for prosecution in international courts, but they failed to do anything significant. The President of the United States greatly exaggerated what had happened. It became clear that he needed this exaggeration. The Islamic Republic delivered a hard slap to the United States' face by attacking one of its key bases in the region, Al Udeid Air Base, and inflicted damage.
And Israeli media and economic reports reveal that Israel has incurred staggering losses estimated at $12 billion from its 12-day aggressive campaign against Iran, with total damages potentially soaring to $20 billion. These losses encompass military spending, damage from Iranian missile and drone strikes, compensation claims by civilians and businesses, and reconstruction efforts. The head of Israel's Tax Authority Compensation Department reported that damage claims related to Iranian ballistic missile attacks alone have already reached approximately $1.32 billion, with expectations to increase much further. And we move on to other topics. Israeli genocidal forces have killed nearly 20 Palestinians in the early hours of Thursday in attacks across the north and south of the Gaza Strip. Authorities in the Palestinian enclave confirmed the fatalities as a result of two bombings, one of which targeted a school sheltering displaced people. Another strike hit the surroundings of the Jordan hospital in northern Gaza. The latest report by the Palestinian Ministry of Health has confirmed that 56,100 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces since the October 2023 onslaught on the enclave, while more than 129,000 have been injured and 210 kidnapped. In this context, Zionist troops keep threatening new incursions into the Strip. Now we have a short break coming up, but first, remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. The Eurasian Economic Forum 2025 kicked off on Thursday in Belarus with the attendance of over 2,700 participants from 33 countries. The keynote encounter is being held at the Minsk International Exhibition Center, and the main goals of the agenda will be to debate on regional economic integration and foster the Eurasian Economic Union. On the opening day, Russian President Vladimir Putin will be addressing the prospects for cooperation between the bloc and the main global financial structures. Likewise, host President Alexander Lukashenko will be presiding the sessions alongside other heads of state, members of the multilateral body. The forum includes 35 thematic events focused on trade, financial development, digitalization, and economic security. Meanwhile, China is hosting the Defense Ministers Summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization against the backdrop of the Middle East conflict and a summit of NATO countries in Europe that agreed to increase their military spending. The meeting of the organization's top defense official comes as a faltering ceasefire holds between Israel and Iran after 12 days of war. It also comes a day after a summit of NATO leaders held in The Hague, where members agreed to increase their defense spending to satisfy U.S. President Donald Trump. The 10-member Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a counterweight to Western-led power blocs and has promoted strengthened collaboration among its member countries in politics, security, trade, and science. The organization is made up of China, Russia, India, and Iran, among other Eurasian countries.
It's time to go. It's time to go. Yes, yes.
And Iran's Defense Minister Razik Nasir-Zadeh participated in the second day of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Ministerial Summit. The senior official held bilateral meetings with his counterparts from Russia, Belarus, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, and the host minister Dong Jung. The Shanghai Summit is a key platform for discussing regional security, counterterrorism cooperation, and broader military collaboration among member states. The Iranian defense chief arrived a day after Tel Aviv declared a unilateral ceasefire on the nation. And on Thursday, China addressed statements by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who warned of Beijing's military strength at the bloc summit in The Hague. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs accused NATO of hyping up regional tensions as an excuse to justify the recent increase in military spending.
The relevant personnel from NATO have been hyping up regional tensions and smearing China's normal military development. Their aim is nothing more than to make an excuse to justify NATO's sharp increase in military spending, reckless expansion of its powers, and its strategic push eastward into the Asia-Pacific. China urges NATO to deeply reflect on itself, heed the just calls of the international community, abandon outdated Cold War thinking, block confrontation, and zero-sum games. Correct its wrongful perceptions about China, and stop manipulating China-related issues. China will firmly safeguard its sovereignty, security and development interests, and will continue to contribute to global peace and stability through concrete actions.
为维护世界和平稳定。
Precisely in this context, a massive demonstration was held in Spain on Wednesday in rejection of the country's involvement in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization after the bloc approved a 5% GDP increase in military expenditure. Under slogans such as "No to War, No to NATO," the demonstrators demanded in Madrid a change in Spanish foreign policy, denouncing the submission to the interests of the U.S. and the non-fulfillment of social commitments in favor of military rearmament. Furthermore, the protesters are demanding a referendum on the country's continued membership in the organization. For its part, the Spanish government has defended its position of increasing military spending to only 2% of the GDP, refusing to up the figure to the 5% demanded by the bloc, citing international commitments and threats to global security. And in accordance with the Istanbul agreements, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced a new prisoner exchange with the Ukrainian regime. The Russian authorities indicated that a group of Russian servicemen were returned from Ukrainian-controlled territory in exchange for Ukrainian armed forces prisoners. The soldiers are currently in Belarus receiving necessary psychological and medical care before being transferred to Russia. Russia and Ukraine previously agreed to exchange sick and seriously wounded soldiers, as well as transfer more than 6,000 bodies of Ukrainian servicemen. And we now move on to other topics. Severe flooding in Guizhou province, southwestern China, has forced the evacuation of over 80,000 residents as continuous heavy rains and upstream inflows caused rivers to burst their banks. The city of Rongjiang, home to around 300,000 people, was partially submerged with flood waters reaching 3 meters in some areas, sweeping away vehicles and damaging infrastructure, including power grids and bridges. The flooding has resulted in at least 6 confirmed deaths and caused landslides that damaged roads, including a partial collapse of a bridge on an expressway in Sandu County. Meanwhile, meteorologists warn that a tropical depression may bring further heavy rains to the region, complicating ongoing rescue and recovery operations. And torrential rainfalls have battered France, bringing about collapses, floods, and power outages. As a result, authorities have reported 2 deaths and 17 injured so far. Official briefings informed that near 110,000 homes have been hit due to these heavy precipitations. In this context, the Meteorological Service had activated alarms and declared orange alert in the eastern and northern regions, while the rest of the localities, except for the western and southern coasts, are under yellow alert. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you will be able to watch our top stories, special live coverages, and much more. Follow our page and activate notifications to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the South. We continue with more information. U.S. Attorney General Pamela Bondi has included Mexico in the list of countries considered adversaries. During a session at the Capitol this Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney General Pamela Bondi surprised by including Mexico in a list of foreign adversaries alongside countries such as Iran, Russia, or China. The Attorney General qualified her words by arguing that threats do not only come from physical attacks, but also from phenomena such as drug overdoses. In this sense, she suggested that the flow of fentanyl and other substances from Mexico represents a form of direct and indirect aggression against United States citizens. Bondi also avoided responding directly when asked if the Mexican government was cooperating to address this crisis. And to strengthen immigration control on the border with Mexico, the U.S. Department of Defense plans to establish 2 new national defense areas which will operate as military zones. New areas will be located in Texas and Arizona. The Texas one will extend for approximately 400 kilometers, and the Arizona one will be smaller. These zones will enable the military to detain migrants without invoking the controversial Insurrection Act of 1807. Several federal judges have dismissed unlawful intrusions charges against migrants detained in the first 2 zones, which are located in Texas and New Mexico. And for her part, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum pointed out on Thursday that the U.S. Treasury Department has not provided evidence to support the allegations that 3 Mexican financial institutions are laundering money. During her morning press conference, the head of state revealed that the Financial Intelligence Unit and the Ministry of Finance received the information a few weeks ago. However, there were no details about the case. Sheinbaum explained that the allegations focused on transfers made through these banking institutions between Chinese companies and legally constituted Mexican companies. Furthermore, she unveiled the government launched an investigation upon receiving the intel, which only found administrative errors leading to sanctions and reaccommodations being imposed on the financial institutions.
¿Qué se hace? Se pide más información al Departamento del Tesoro. Si hay más información que implique.
And the Hongting Joint Forum between China and Venezuela on Communication and Information Technologies progresses. At the Teresa Carreño Theater, representatives from both countries will seek to establish ties and develop joint policies. They will also address the relationship between the Chinese news agency Xinhua and Venezuelan public media. The meeting will also strengthen bilateral relations amid global media development. On Thursday, Minister of Communication Freddy Ñañez met with Yang Yang, the General Director of Xinhua News Agency for Latin America, to discuss communication strategies in both countries. And in Panama, the repression order by President José Raúl Mulino in the northeastern community of Bocas del Toro has claimed the life of a 1-year-old child. The serious incident was denounced by the NGO Aldeas Infantiles SOS. They informed that the event occurred in Bocas del Toro when security agents using tear gas attacked the house where the baby was. To this fact must be added the total blockade of telecommunications in the region, where serious human rights violations are being committed, like the one denounced. Likewise, a large number of arrests have been reported, while unions and syndicates throughout the country report that more than 130 leaders have been prosecuted.
Que está mostrando el gobierno son algo que no habíamos visto.
The level of cruelty that the government is displaying is unprecedented in this country. The people of Bocas del Toro are only guilty of expressing their discontent with a pension law that takes away their pensions and gives them to bankers. The government's response to this expression of discontent, shared by the rest of the country, was to declare war on the Bocatorinos. This has led to intensified repression. The persecution of demonstrator leaders has resulted in beatings and the sadistic torture of detainees. It has even led to the murder of a baby by tear gas bombs thrown at his home. The government's inability to find the culprit responsible for the alleged Kidditet conspiracy has only increased the violence. The government invented this alleged conspiracy to cover up the fact that the discontent is real, and the rejection of this law is a reality.
Meanwhile, this serious situation in this Panamanian province has been brought to the attention of international forums, such as the Internet Governance Forum, which was held in Oslo, Norway. There, representatives from the Pan American Institute of Law and Technology denounced the information blockade.
We reject this disproportionate measure, which represents a serious violation of freedom of expression and the right to information. It also violates fundamental rights. Cutting off internet access during protests limits the ability to document abuses, communicate with family members, receive reliable information, access emergency services, and access education. We call on other organizations, especially those in our region, to help expose this disproportionate action by the Panamanian government and lift this measure.
And before wrapping up, the government of Honduras reported that it is close to becoming a literate society thanks to its alliances with Cuba. The authorities reported that 17 out of 18 regions are now illiteracy-free, bringing them closer together to their goal. They also highlighted the success of the José Manuel Flores Arguijo National Literacy Program, promoted by President Xiomara Castro, which uses the Cuban Yo Si Puedo, or Yes I Can methodology. Regarding the success, Honduras Minister of Education Daniel Sponda said that learning has changed the lives of Hondurans. The Cuban ambassador to Honduras also commented on the program's success, noting that it has helped more than 10 million people in several countries overcome illiteracy. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belen de los Santos. Thank you for watching.